Hi, my name's Pharaoh. Let's get this camera correct. My name's Pharaoh, and today I'm going to carry on with my permadeath run. Now I've got camera the other way around. Hang on. The effect, it's an effect rather than camera, so it's difficult for me to know when it's pointing directly at me, but that looks better. Okay, so where were we? So with abandoned run, I seem to remember that last time I was at a point where I was considering getting a Corvette, but I was a little bit concerned about storage because I didn't have an awful lot of space to store all of the Corvette parts. Hi, Ignition, good to see you. Good afternoon from here. We're about 1 o'clock. Bit of hitching there. Oh, come on. I don't think there's been any updates to any textures or anything. Right, so where were we? Hi, John. It's not that I can't store stuff in there. It's just that I've got no space really at all at the moment because I've been running around doing stuff. Got nowhere really to store anything. I'd like to kind of have a good bit of space so that I can carry stuff backwards and forwards into the cache, the workshop cache thing. I suppose... I couldn't use these before. I could cut down some of this stuff, but yeah, I think I'm better off working towards some form of storage first, to be honest. And I guess the best way would be to either... What we got here? Is that all? I guess we'll have to go to the anomaly. So either get a storage itself, like an actual storage unit, or maybe get an exocraft. An exocraft might be simpler. Let's see how many we'd need. No, we'd still have to go up to the anomaly to get the exocraft itself. Still can't get... You can just get it, but it's not being displayed on the screen. There's a bit of a bug here, where the right and the left doesn't display. Anyway, let's go to normal mode. Let's see how much it costs to get the various options. Because I want the most efficient quick option, really. Hi Alpha, it's good to see you. Yeah, there's definitely some textures being loaded in here. I wonder if it's because I was doing some AI design work, so it's kind of flooded my cache with other things. So this has taken a little while for the game to load in. Hi Gravnaut. Yeah, I'm doing a bit of a redesign on my branding, which you may have seen flash up. I suppose I can show you here. This thing down here, the little Egyptian head. That's only a draft at the moment, but so I was doing some of that with an AI tool, because that's the kind of thing AI is actually good for, as opposed to almost anything else, to be honest. It may have flooded my VRAM, so expect a little bit of hitching for a little while. So I only need 4. That's not. I've got 7 at the moment, so that could be the solution. A bit of paraffinium, a bit of metal plating, shove some stuff in my... Yeah, let's do that. And then what? It's a solution I usually use in permadeath, I must admit. Just because it's more transportable. Really, I'd like to get that as well, but it's going to take a little bit of work. Paraffinium at all at the moment. That was one of the things I almost gathered. I will at some point get the oxygen harvester, yeah. I'm trying to stay very, very focused on my route first. I would usually get the oxygen harvester almost immediately. Why are my bases not showing? So we're on a lush planet already, so we can just go and get some paraffinium here. Copper, silver, still hitching a little bit. Paraffinium, 550, it's not too far. Copper. Yeah, that's not too bad. We'll go over. We'll go and get it on foot, see what else is around. Yeah, could possibly get a little bit of space with a nutrition unit.
Life support power low. Energy recharged.
Oh, still hitching. Did I get the advance? Yes, I did. Excellent. That was the other thing. I just finished messing around with my multi-tool, and I was considering whether to use one of the multi-tool expansions, because I don't think this will be my forever multi-tool, but for the time being, it's probably good enough. I got enough for the... What am I doing? Yeah, I've got plenty of ferrite dust. How much of this do I need? Only 50. So we want 5 metal plating. Just got enough space here. 5 metal plating. Delete it, otherwise we'll be littering. Absolutely, portable storage is always a good option. So what we got? The starship that we don't need. We don't need that. Don't really need that right now. We're considering using one of those, so we'll leave those there for now. We don't really need that right now. Probably leave that in the ship. We don't need all of that though. Possibly you don't really need that or that right now. Might need that. Might need that. Got enough space now, I guess. Let's put that in there. Couldn't use those anyway. We'll test them again in a bit just in case something's changed, but I doubt it. We haven't had a batch. That shouldn't be there anyway. No, it's because we've got so much sodium. So we don't need all of that. Don't technically need... Why didn't it use up my metal plating? It's odd. Oh, because I've deleted it again, didn't I? Of course. We want to, if we keep hold of the ingredients, then we can create this whenever we want. So as long as we've got a couple of ion batteries, 50 paraffinium and some metal plating, which we can put in the ship, I suppose. Actually, no, because we might want to do it on foot. So let's keep it here. We're running a little bit low on ion batteries, but I think we'll be okay. Probably don't need that, right? Leave it there. Leave it there. See how we get on. Put that in there. Leave those. We need at least some meat. Possibly a little bit of cobalt. Dioxide's handy. Shove that in there for now. Shove that in the starship. Alright. Did we have... I don't think we had salvage scrap. Oh, we do. I didn't think we did have it in this system. We do. It's abandoned planet as well, so that might make it a bit easier. We could roam around on the rover, for instance. Yeah, okay. So absolutely, Corvette time. Let's go. So here somewhere. There it is. Don't have an awful lot of launch fuel, so I probably don't want to take off and... So yeah, it might be going around in the roamer. Got some uranium though. I've got plenty of that at the moment. Still would like to have a couple. Maybe one more. Put that there. I could just pick up the summoning station, but I haven't got it at the moment. I need to grind for it. Of course, the summoning station works in the whole system, so you could just put it on your base and exploit a system at a time. Yeah. And then just have a base per system, a small one. Right, so we'll just land. Don't necessarily need the roamer, no. But then it could be handy to chuck things in. And also, I don't really want to be using up my resources. Could be a bit few and far between here. It says there's salvageable scrap, but I don't see any. got slightly annoying sentinels, but they're not actually attacking me, and I suppose I could exploit them as well. Certainly an easy place to run away from sentinels on these planets. Not seeing anything. Building. Not seeing any evidence of scrap at all. Ah. 5 minutes. Maybe we'll get the roamer out. Now, sometimes on a oh, can't do it that way. Hang on. Sometimes on abandoned planets. Oh, have I moved away from my metal plating? How come? Oh, did I just use some for something else? I'm not sure. Maybe I just didn't count it correctly. That's okay. Sometimes this kind of wobbles on these kinds of planets. I've seen dead planets with quite a bit of salvage scrap in the past. I just think it's a variable of how sparse it will be. I think everything has like a variable. The best thing is if you can get a rise, you can point up and take off, and it takes a while for you to land. Want you activating right away. I get a shot in from maybe if I go up there. Okay, so we got our first parts. Yeah, so as I was saying, because there's a variable for each planet, I think has a scarcity of resources level. It's possible that dead planets, that set's slightly lower, but it doesn't mean, or less likely, it doesn't necessarily mean it's always going to be super low, I don't think. The standard distribution is probably going to be lower, I guess. I sometimes consider making a How No Man's Sky Works video about how things like standard distributions and rendering styles, how terrain works, but I just feel like it might lose a lot of people. It would be quite mathematical. I've even tried to make it in the past and not got around to finishing it because it just felt like it was too detailed. What we got so far? So nothing useful at all, really. Okay, keep going. Let's head in a direction. So we'll go south. We've got some metal fingers over here. This is the beauty of exploring on foot or in a roamer. You spot more things. Don't really want the gold, want the uranium. I have got plenty, but you can never have too much uranium. During their relics expedition. Yeah, they're really good for just kind of... They're quite relaxing in a way. They were also kind of almost the place for choice for doing the bone stuff. The place of choice, rather. Because not only was it easy to navigate, but it was easy to fight the Guardians, whatever they were called. Stone Guardians, is that right? I say were as if they're no longer in the game. I just haven't fought them for ages. Gold will be useful in the long run because I've probably used gold and silver to make chromatic metals. Grab not making sure I don't leave the gold. I wasn't going to leave the gold. I was just prioritizing what I was picking up. Okay, so where did I just... Okay. Where did I leave my thing? There it is. Exosuit, get rid of some of this. Was some in the starship? Yes, it was. We can get rid of that too. Don't need the gold with me right now. And I think we're okay to carry on. Oh, I missed one. Nearly did leave some gold. Possibly. I suppose it's possible. I do think that some of these things may have even been just abandoned concepts for Light No Fire when they were kind of working on what kind of things they wanted in the game. So you could imagine them putting things in like that and then thinking that doesn't quite fit the theme we're going for, and then thinking we might as well make use of it somewhere else. No Man's Sky is pretty eclectic in its themes. It has lots of different things, so it doesn't feel that odd to have something strange that doesn't fit anywhere else. Whereas I'd like to think something like Light No Fire was a bit more thematically coherent. A bit more focused on whatever style of fantasy they're going for. Yes, hand-me-downs. Or got a nice abandoned crash freighter here. Let's get the salvage first because it's quite close by. And that kind of work never goes unused completely because they could always adapt it for something else. It's like the ruined planets. They feel a little bit like things that you might have seen in Light No Fire, but maybe they made some better assets or some more efficient assets or whatever, and then just thought, well, we'll put these ones in No Man's Sky. Suppose I can't be bothered to keep it. I feel like recycling just takes forever.
Radiation protection. All extreme subterranean radiation detected.
Keep an eye on how much I've got in my exosuit. Yeah, I've got a bit of space still. Nice. I guess a checklist for a minimal corvette would be one hab, one landing gear, one cockpit, one thruster, one weapon, and one landing light. Yeah, that sounds about right. Well, there's nothing normal about Hello Games, is there? What other company would be bringing out a new game? Is that Destructible? No, it just looked it. And what other games company would be bringing out a new game and put stuff from the new game in their old game? I can't think of an example of that ever happening before. I just think that Hello Game strategy has to be Light No Fire focused to the point that when it comes out, it has to hit the ground running. It can't afford to be in the position that No Man's Sky was in. because nobody really wants to be reviewing the game and saying, in 5 years' time, this will be a great game. They need to be reviewing it saying, this is a great game now, and it's going to be even better in 5 years. Continue going away from the spaceship. Are you talking about games in general having updates? As opposed to a game just coming out and being relatively static except for a few bug things. Never resist a nice clump of oxygen. Going south. Yeah, I agree. I mean, back in the good old days, you didn't get significant content drops. You just used to get sequels, and Hello Games very clearly said quite early on that they weren't interested in making a sequel. Although I still think that leaves open the concept of a prequel. We'll live and die on that hill until we see evidence otherwise. Mainly because I really want to see a prequel. I want to see a game based in the grand old days. This is the first ever time I have found one of these parts in all of No Man's Sky. Suspicious packet tech. Nice. Let's put that in my room. That in my room. There. Boring. Analyze. When were they added? A long while ago now. I have literally spent hours on planets searching for them, going to places with salvageable scrap. From before the days when salvageable scrap was Corvette parts, obviously. And I've searched for hours and hours looking for them, and I didn't find any. I can't think when they were added now. There was a building part added, and they added them into the game as well. I think I might want to go to a different planet. I mean, it's quite relaxing just driving around, but in all of your abandoned saves, you've only got 5. I guess you're more likely to be doing things like this on abandoned, where you're just kind of looking around for stuff, as opposed to just flying from planet to planet. Because this is the only real way to grind, I guess. Yeah, for an easy life, I think you're right, Alphas, that this would be a reasonable place to hang around. What's this over here? Is that another one, or is that something else? Is that a building, perhaps, or a plinth? Plaque, that's the right word. I always call it a plinth. Nature mark hums. I guess knowledge of the past is more useful in the long run. Yeah, this is what I imagine. And this is why I do feel like just perhaps, I don't want to upset anybody, but just perhaps abandoned mode is not complete yet. I think it needs to be more gamified, but I guess it was always set up for a very pure experience, a very much a pure sandbox experience. And that's not really what I like about No Man's Sky. I like that element of sandbox, but it's not my favourite thing. I like the exploration element of a sandbox. What do you agree with, John? Do you agree with? Do you agree that this is what abandoned mode is, or do you agree that it's not quite finished? Yes, exactly. That's exactly my perspective. There needs to be something that isn't a player goal. I said this only this morning on Reddit, that I feel like, yes, it's a sandbox game. You need to work towards your own goals, but I also feel like there needs to be something you're trying to achieve overall that isn't just a player goal. Going to be frustrating because I don't have the right weapon to damage that. I don't think I'm getting anything extra. It's got no area effect on it. If I had a neutron cannon, I could get this. What was I just running out of terrain?
Recharged.
Where am I? Going that way. Yeah, even if there was a mystery to solve, I was saying the other day that I would quite like some way of reviving small areas, like maybe bringing back fauna, maybe even working towards repopulation, maybe even working towards some form of repopulation system by system, or something that achievement. But I guess I'm just a little bit more goal orientated than some. We're all different types of players, and No Man's Sky supports a lot of different styles of play. And if a more purist type of player doesn't want that, then maybe make it an option. Like have abandoned mode campaign option, abandoned mode pure option, or just, I don't know what you call it. Pure sounds purist, and that's not really what I'd want to get at. That's the one I've probably just been to, so I'll mark that so I don't go back to it. Is there are there Atlas stations in Abandoned? No interaction. So you could do something with those to make up some kind of gamified version or some kind of narrative. Still haven't even got a hab yet. Let's give it another few minutes, but this is not a particularly effective way of doing this. I guess if I get enough parts, then I could buy the other parts. I don't know if I'd get good money selling these things. Yeah, I knew there wasn't an Atlas path. I knew there wasn't an Atlas path as such, but I would have imagined that there'd be some kind of interaction. And I was more asking because it would be a potential place to have an interaction. Still, I might see what other planets we have available at least. I know there was at least one other planet that I've already unlocked that has salvageable scrap. I don't think there was any in my starter system. I think there was in the other one. Radically, I could even go to another system. That would be a novelty. never expect it to bounce. I guess because on higher gravity systems it really does. Space. Okay, so we've got a hab now at least. And a bit of cash, not an awful lot of cash. We need that. Is that the only essential part we've got so far? Looks like it. It's temporal. Let's call my shipping. Take some of these parts back. Did I actually leave my ship? Did I even leave my ship fuel? Did I make a schoolboy error there? Yeah, we didn't leave it fuel, so we'll have to drive back anyway. So if we're going to drive back anyway, we might as well. What I have advanced mining laser? Not yet. Oh well, I'll get those ones. Yeah, so if we're going to have to drive back to the ship anyway, might as well go in a wide search circle. So, or at least 2 parallel lines. So that's over there. Let's go this way. Yeah, I mean, if we spot any, I've got plenty of navigation data. I haven't been lax in picking that up. So if we spot anything that we can call it to, we'll use it. Ooh. I wouldn't have imagined navigation data fetches an awful lot of cash, does it? I would think I would probably just keep it for emergencies. Navigation data, there's a load more and some oxygen over there. Yeah, As you say, they do occasionally change this mode. I feel like they haven't quite finished it yet. Even if they're not going to add story or a goal, I feel like they could still potentially change things. Given it a wide enough berth. Let's see if there's anything to pick up on the way. Can't see anything. A bit more condensed carbon. As it's right here. But I mean, in a way, I feel like this mode is there for those people that say, I want to play a game without a story at all. So I wouldn't want to take that away from anybody. Okay. I might shoot one of these in a minute. I wonder if the exosuit upgrade places will let me use those other upgrades. Things I've got. The pods. Try that out in a bit. Yeah, I mean, this is definitely stress-free No Man's Sky. I'm not sure if I really enjoy this kind of sparse landscape. I prefer a bit of vegetation, so I wouldn't call it therapeutic on this planet. This really does feel abandoned. In fact, my thumbnail should probably be an abandoned planet as opposed to the frozen planet I use for it. I'm going to stick with it now because people will recognise it if they're interested in following the journey. Definitely using up my fuel quicker the way I'm driving. Red planets should, though, theoretically have the odd building. I haven't seen any buildings at all apart from these freighters. Is that the same freighter, I wonder? Either way, we can use it to call our ship back if it's still 5 minutes away, so we've had a bit of time off our journey. Because you're a bit too close to my destination. Let's see if this is the same one. Yes, it is. Just on my landing spot. So I want to move some of this stuff. That in the starship, that in the starship, that in the starship. I think we sell some of that stuff, see how much we get for it, and maybe buy some essential parts, because we're taking a while to get to the essential parts. And it'd be a lot easier to search using a corvette. we get the Corvette, we'll be doing a lot of this. Oh, it's in my ship, isn't it? So... hang on. I thought... oh, no, it is there. Looking for the wrong icons. Let's sell these things. How much difference does going to the right economy make for trade goods, considering there's not really much of a trade system in Abandoned? Is it worth finding the right economy to sell things? Yep, again, we're on the same page on that one. I'm not suggesting buying and selling. I'm just suggesting I've got some stuff to sell. Is it worth going to the right... for instance, is it worth going to a high-tech for that? Whoop. While I'm here, let's see if there's been a change. I doubt there has, because there hasn't been a patch, but you never know, sometimes these things can change anyway. No. Did I? Yes, I did. Right, I've decided to make do with my multi-tool a little bit. I'm going to give it a couple of slots. Let's use all the ones we've got. We can always get another one later. I feel like multi-tools aren't the hardest thing in Abandoned. We had at least one thing. It must be back in my storage. Yeah, it's there. I was going to sell, wasn't I, before I leave here? Actually, let's have a look at what the economies are that I've already got. So we've got... I don't think we've got any of the right economies. That's sell anywhere. And that's high tech. We're at just sell what we've got. I think the I can't remember which. I think the this icon is advanced technologies, am I right? Sell. Let's see. Oops, wrong way. Transfer. That's not a reactor, so let's see if that is actually valuable to sell. And what else might be? They might be. I don't think they're going to be very valuable. Right. That's worth a lot. 1,500,000. So I'm going to just sell that right now. I don't want to actually buy any parts because you never know. I might pick up some better parts and some duplicates. So I don't want to potentially pick up any duplicates. But I'll just see what kind of prices we are for things like the landing gear. $800, so we could get started. I'm not going to, but we could get started. We're not. I don't think we'd be. We've only got 3,200,000. I think we'd very quickly burn through that trying to build a corvette. Don't think we'd quite get there. Right. So, I think this was... No, that's Ancient Bones. Was it another moon on another planet? Was it that one? I need to visit all of these planets. Just so I've got them on my list. Let's go there. First thing I'll do in this system, because it will be potentially pop on a new planet, is pop that. And find out if we can use our other slots. them. No, they're all in the roamer. So I'll have to call the roamer in. Pyrite yet. So let's get the roamer bay here. Eat it. Put those definitely there. That in my starship. That in my starship. Roamer. I haven't even got enough carbon for carbon nanotubes. Seem to be much sentinel activity here. What's the sentinel's remote? Got this sodium. I think we had a... Maybe not. Alright, let's get in the warm then.
Temperature levels stabilizing. Technology recharged.
See it. It seemed to just pop up and then disappear, which is exactly what happened the very first time in a space station. Just began to see a line and it instantly flicked away. going to reload and see if I can do that again. What are we on? 20. So let's go to there. And see if I immediately hit interact, whether it will make a difference. I'm probably going to have to redo these. So I need to make sure I'm in a position where I am neutrally selecting it. So that should be okay.
Temperature levels stable. Repaired.
No. It still seemed to flash up, but
Stabilizing.
didn't have an option to select. I had my finger on select. Nothing happened. Did I actually... No, I didn't actually have the parts on me that time because I hadn't retrieved them. So it wouldn't have proved anything anyway, but I would have still thought it would let me select. No damaged machinery there. Yes, there is. Still getting that offset with the technology. Right, there's no other reason to be on this planet. I think that one did. Let's just mark it. Scan it from there. Let's go in the corner. Yes. So we'll land there. It's another low atmosphere. But we'll see if it's got a little bit more salvageable scrap than the other planet. Hang on a second, I'm just going to do something. Just making a quick poll because I'm interested in people's perspective of what the door means. Okay, started a quick poll. What are we expecting from the door update? Are we expecting more Corvette content, which seems to be quite a common thing on Reddit for people to say? Are we expecting it to be just an expedition? Are we expecting it to be an actual significant update of some kind or something else? I'll leave that running for a little while. Hi Beeps, good to see you. I'm doing very well, thanks. Okay, so second abandoned planet of scrap. And again, not seeing any as I immediately land. But this time we'll make sure we actually have got
Technology recharged.
keep doing that. Build it first. My suspicion is that each region will have an Atlantid interface in a purple system. What do you mean by that? Atlantid interface. Oh, you mean instead of an Atlas interface. I get you. So, in a particular region, there'll be one. Yeah, I get you. It's possible, I suppose. I mean, we don't have it. We don't have any way of communicating with the Void Mother at the moment. A reuse of the boundaries. Yeah, the boundary failures. That we've been wondering if they're ever going to use those for anything for years. Some significant update is my guess, possibly an expedition. This is around the time they had to rerun the Beachhead expedition last year, just before the reader. Actually, if you look at the date, this is when they ran the Cursed expedition, almost to the day. So they could do both of those. They could run a new expedition and then afterwards, in the Reduxes, introduce some other older expedition for things that people can no longer get. So I haven't got the advanced mining laser yet. Any scrap at all. Which direction are we going? Where's my ship? So let's go mostly east. I'm of a similar mind, Beebs. The idea that we would get yet another major content update just feels a little bit too much. I do think they might be working towards something, but I think they're working towards something for next year. But I mean, unless they've been working so hard towards that thing that they have certain things they have to get released beforehand to thoroughly test. But yeah. The thing is, they never do things by halves, do they? They always bring out something you don't expect. Oh, I like this piece of terrain. That'd be a good place to stop and check my surroundings. It's a place I have to stop and check my surroundings because I've got myself stuck. Oh, we've got a grave. No scrap. Just missed the rise. Still not getting the right bounce. Playing Joe Danger on a planet. In the beginning of the first section. Oh, yeah, I felt like all year has felt a bit rushed. In the beginning of the first felt really rushed, not in quality but time-wise. I released it much earlier than usual, so it felt like they were prepping for more. Yeah, I was saying this at the same time, but I also felt like everything they did release, it felt like it was on a timetable, as if they hadn't quite finished anything. The first one wasn't so bad, but everything since has been just a little bit underbaked. So again, I feel like they've got like a schedule in their mind. They're trying to reach a goal for the 10th anniversary. But I still only expect an expedition. In fact, I was saying on my video about this that I only really expect some kind of similar expedition to past expeditions, maybe another Cursed-like expedition, or even Cursed Part 2. Reuse some of those assets, some of those special effects, and just continue the story, that kind of thing. This planet feels worse than the last planet for scrap. I think they've definitely picked up on the fact that we enjoy Halloween themed stuff. When they first did or maybe it wasn't the very first thing we ever had for Halloween, but when they did the derelict freighters, it felt like we were always going to get a Halloween update, and they didn't come through on that for a couple of years. But they do seem to be doing that now more often. The Cursed, for instance, was definitely Halloween. Just outside of my range somehow. It just disappeared. It was right there. Oh well, we'll go in that direction. Yes, it does have a bit of a Resident Evil feel. That's why I went for, on my video, I went for like a really spooky door, because it definitely feels like a Halloween-inspired idea. A doorway. I'll do this. Two 2170. Where was it? Just there. The thing that I feel like they haven't done for a while is a story-based expedition. The stories have been a bit light recently. There have been stories, but they haven't been very deep for a while. So I'd quite like to see a story-based one. It doesn't have to be continuing any major story of the lore for me. It just has to be something that you actually follow along and feels like we're being told a story. What's that? I parked in a bad spot. No, I was... This wasn't showing the indicator. Thought I saw a freighter over there, but I didn't. Yeah, the Ariadne stuff was the weekend mission stuff. That was it does feel like that's still hanging, that one day we will get some form of story. And I feel like weekend missions took over. I mean, expeditions took over from weekend mission stories. It does feel like at some point we will get a story about a dark freighter in the void. And I'll be disappointed if we don't, because it feels like that was such a long hanging thread. But the problem with it, it's so long ago now. Any player that's joined the game since then won't have a clue what the story's about, so they'd need to refresh us in some way. Or bring that story into the main game somehow. There's only the slightest clue. But they did... When was it? It was not long ago they introduced, as part of the ordinary progression, an Ariadne thing where we go to speak to Ariadne and she kind of gives a hint that she's not feeling herself or something. So they're still acknowledging it. It's not like they've totally forgotten it. We could say the same thing about the old weekend missions, that we couldn't replay them. Therefore, there's still kind of temporary content that doesn't get renewed much. She's the Hello Kitty character that's on the stairs as you first walk up on the left of the Nexus. She's kind of designed and positioned there to be the first NPC you talk to as a new player, I think. I say she, obviously she doesn't have a gender. I don't know why I just think of cats as she. Make sure I've got enough space. I'm not having an awful lot of luck with these. Got an ordinary hat. I'm getting a lot of not particularly useful parts. Put that in there. Put that in there. Let's have a look at the poll. Just but Exposition and some patches 50%. More Corvette content 20%. Another update significant content 20%. Other 10%. So we're kind of tending towards Expedition with a few people thinking there might be. I think there will be some Corvette content. I mean, I didn't want to put all of the above instead of other. Other kind of means if you want to put something in the text. And if you still want to put some stuff in the text of what you think it might be, that's fine. And other updates, significant content. Yeah, so I think we're on a similar page. I'm not feeling it for these planets. I think I might try and find another. We will transfer what we've picked up.
Technology recharged.
I mean, I would suggest that other means could be all of them, could be something completely different, and you can always clarify in the chat if you think there's something else that could be happening. Let's go and do this. Might as well while we've got it marked. I would just be very, very surprised if we got anything significant, like a big update. A few quality of life, maybe a couple of thematic things. See, for instance, one of the things they could do is they could introduce things like the different doors and stuff for the Corvette and make that a thematic thing along with the main update. So if the main update, for instance, was an expedition, they could put things in like portals as a main aspect, and that would be the main reason why the door, and whatever the name they choose. And then they could mention doors for the Corvette as a thing as well. And they could maybe add some of the cursed stuff into the main game as just a bit of an update for content. Signal to the past. What's that over there? It's just a... It's a monolith over there.
Power cells depleted. Technology recharged.
Okay. Yeah, let's do that for a second. If we were going to go for radical addition, something that really is a big update still, because they've got a whole list of things they want to achieve before the 10th anniversary, then the biggest content they could add that potentially could come over from Light No Fire would be some kind of dungeon. I just don't think... I would imagine that dungeons would be an integral part of Light No Fire, in a similar way to derelicts are in this game. They're not an integral part, but they're a major feature. There's something you can get your teeth into if you want to. So they could theoretically do that, but I feel like they've already done that. I feel like derelicts were basically bringing something from Light No Fire into the game before we knew there was such a thing as Light No Fire. So they'd been working on it for a while. They probably worked out a way of doing procedural dungeons, and then they said, let's bring some of these procedural dungeons into No Man's Sky, and we got derelict freighters. Did I just not read? I'm running out. Okay. I think I probably left some stuff. do some asteroid shooting. So I don't expect planetary dungeons. I know a lot of people suggested it immediately after we got derelicts that they could do that, but I just don't expect it. I always think you got to remember that Light No Fire was being made for 5 years before they ever really mentioned it. So if you trace it back, they would have been they would have decided to what's our next game going to be at some point during or just after the next update maybe. So that's years ago. And almost anything we've had since then could have some element of Light No Fire in it. Like, for instance, capes. Look how long ago we had capes. And then the very first thing we see of Light No Fire is people with capes. So you wonder, did they bring capes in for Light No Fire and then think, oh, we could put these in No Man's Sky? And we could test to see how well they work. And they found out they didn't work very well without the right kind of rendering. So they never fully implemented capes the way we would like to see them. But they worked out their own limitations. They did a bit of testing. Probably need a better asteroid belt than this. This is slim pickings. You got anything? Nope. Let's do the search. It should pick up. Staffs, yeah. There are so many things we've seen in the last few years that possibly had their roots in working towards Light No Fire. Coffee this morning. Did not wake up. Monday morning syndrome, I guess. I've now had far too much coffee though. Got enough to get. Where were we going? It's trouble when you run out of fuel. You lose track of what you were up to. That's unmanned. So that's got salvageable scrap as well. So let's go here. Which is coincidentally where that is, I think. What is this too much coffee? There is such a thing, trust me. although for me, too much coffee is quite a lot of coffee. I have had 1, 2, 3, 4 cups of coffee at least today. All right, it's taking me to that blue instead. Oh, it's the navigation marker. I didn't even want that. Right, let's go back to what we were going to do. Let's hope we get a bit more scrap availability on a proper planet. We've got somewhere to land. So burning through our ability to take off. See this wiggly line on our Starship trail is back. Selected chats. This is what's it called? I'll give you the proper name. This is Social Stream Ninja, which takes a little bit of setting up. You've got to kind of get your head around how it works. And all of these suggestions kind of make it seem like you have to have Chrome browser, but you don't. And I find it works really well. You just have, basically you set up a server, a local server. It sets it up for you. And it just keeps all of the chat in it, and then you can just select individual ones. You could have it streaming along. There's lots more options than I'm using. I'm just using it for selected chat, but it's actually quite a flexible piece of software. And obviously, well, not obviously, but it's also free.
Falling. Radiation damage detected. Extreme subterranean radiation detected.
It's got a lot of flexibility, a lot of different options. I would definitely recommend having a look at it at least. I'm actually on a radiation planet, aren't I?
Technology recharged. Radiation protection falling.
That's better. It does introduce a slightly more lag into the chat. But the best thing is I've got my iPad right next to me, or a second screen if you haven't got an iPad or a tablet, just using an ordinary browser, and then I can just select a piece of chat without interrupting anything I'm doing, and then I can take it off the screen as well. I can go right back in the whole history, just scrolling up. It did for a while start losing chat and start losing connection, but they updated it and it seemed to fix it. So and it is still being actively supported.
Radiation protection falling. Radiation protection.
Actual fauna.
Received. Received.
little bit more radioactive than I really want it to be, this planet.
Radiation protection falling.
Just missed the lip. Got my bit in there for now. Got enough space in there. So, hyperdrive module, excellent. What's this? Analysis visor. Okay. I was going to put that in there, wasn't I? I was going to put that with these.
Radiation protection falling.
Alright, let's ignore that for a second, because the radiation here is not nice. Let's actually start flying around. Really, I'd rather land in places where I can run, but the planet is not ideal for that. Blimey, I've got nothing now. This isn't the ideal place to get carbon either. Right, let's use the gun. We've got plenty of space.
Protection falling.
So, that's no good. Alright. Let's get the carbon. That's going to be ferrite. Come on, I want that one.
Received. Radiation protection falling.
Where's my ship?
Technology recharged.
I need to go back to base and actually do a bit of refining stuff at some point. least we've got a bit more salvage here. Yeah, I didn't actually summon nothing. Although I don't have the protection, I do feel like this makes it a little bit slower.
Radiation protection.
Where is it? 600 odd, that's 900 odd. See why some people use the miner tool in abandoned mode. To stop all of this draining of hazard protection. We have enough money to buy a few basic corvette parts. I don't think I've got quite enough to buy all of the bits I need, but I'm probably getting close because I have picked up a few expensive items. But I have a feeling on a planet like this, with like going to 3 or 4 of them, we're gonna get a little bit more luck. It's going to be a bit quicker to farm, so I might as well exploit it while we're here. Some space.
Radiation protection.
Is this a cave? Can I just replenish my...
Radiation protection. Stabilizing.
Yes, I can. Not coffee. I also got some squash on me. Underground. There is an underground. He was, I reckon, yes. That's handy. So we've got 1 rare ground and 1 uncommon flying on this planet. Uncommon flying is probably not going to be at night time. Doesn't say, but I don't think it said anyway. Whenever you see a beetle creature, you always have in the back of your mind maybe there will be a secondary gender that will be a greater mushroom beetle. I'm not sure if the underground ones have two genders. Ground creature. So we might as well stay on the planet for a little while we've got the possibility of getting the nanites. So let's go and get that.
Radiation protection falling.
Doing thinking of it as scrap and trying to shoot it.
Radiation protection falling.
Right. We've got some space.
Radiation damage detected.
Maybe we'll be getting into a fight when haven't got a recharge. Is that a missing creature? No, it isn't.
Radiation protection
What was it again? Rare ground always active. We're better off being on foot for those. That's the trouble. It's just going to drain our hazard. Sack venom.
technology recharged. Radiation protection falling.
There's something there that was carbon, but I can't spot it now. I guess we got these. What? We got no condensed carbon, of course. aroma. Pop that. Put that in the aroma. Put that in the aroma. Put that in the aroma.
Radiation protection falling.
Okay, this is not a nice planet. I think we'll get off of it. Just really want to see that last creature. And there's some more scrap. After being on that other planet, this feels really cumbersome and slow. There it is. Oops. At least we got the nanites. Okay, so what have we got left? We've got... That was completely pointless thing to pick up. Actually, we might as well put them all in the ship if we're going to go back to the space station. Have an exosuit. Probably want to sell that if we can. Let's get the parts first. We definitely want that. Right, so I don't think we've got anywhere near the right parts, but we're getting towards where we could potentially buy our way into a corvette. That's a bit better. Let's use this while we're here. I was going to wait until I got back to the space station because there's usually one next to the space station. I've got no space left for anything. I've got one slot there. Can I consolidate anything? Alright, perhaps. Seeing so many more of those jellyfish. It's almost like they decided they should no longer be rare because people weren't seeing them at all. The best thing about Abandoned, you don't get all of these rocks suddenly despawn and respawn whenever a freighter pops in. Getting through hyperclusters. Hyperclusters, I think we've got enough. Where's the space station? Yeah, it'd be nice if there was some form of freighter. Can see why they didn't immediately implement it. I mean, I feel like they just took the content from the expedition and chucked it into a mode and then started putting extra things in. So it would need a rework of the freighters or possibly a rework of the derelicts or something else. It would be nice if they could incorporate it somehow. So, that can go in there, that can go in there. We've got a few of the parts. We've got a couple of engines. We've got a weapon. I think that will count as a weapon, the torpedoes. Consolidate that. Use those while we're here. Mind you, we don't really need to use them because we've got spare space at the moment. So we're selling that.
Received.
Selling that. Selling that.
Received.
Selling that.
Units. Received. Received.
Don't have an awful lot of gold, but I might as well expand that. One soul, I can delete that. I don't need one soul. Get the starship. Right, so I guess we could do what we were doing a minute ago, and, well, probably an hour or so ago now. Sell some of these things that we don't necessarily need for a basic corvette. Still haven't we got a reactor, have we? Right, let's see what we can do. We've got landing gear, we've got a hab, we haven't got a cockpit. Cockpits are expensive. So we've got an engine. Got a hab. We could probably sell that for a decent amount of money. Got some form of weapon, if that counts. Got landing gear. So that counted as a weapon. So no reactor, no cockpit, no access way. I think I had... No, I didn't have an access way. Surely I can't do that. So, be careful I don't sell anything we're using. Might be able to buy a couple of things anyway. Oh, wrong button. Oh, here. Yeah, so. And a bay we need, don't we? And we have our corvette. So we're going to need some platinum for the refiner. I think we have one hydraulic wiring on our exocraft. Yes, we've got one hydraulic wiring. We've got a bit of platinum. So we can make a refiner. And then we just need... Well, we got enough for some storage. So we need to transfer our temporary storage into this storage, and we're sorted. So we just need to go and find... We can do that in our base. Run. Also transfer some stuff from our starship. We've got the platinum there, in fact. Store. I don't know if it already had a rocket or not. Oh, I did have a rocket, didn't I? So it probably doesn't need that. We'll leave that there for now. Keep this simple. What can we put in the... Not a lot. Gonna need more of those. Can we reach the starship from here? Yes, we can. So keep looking over my microphone. Just lower my microphone so I can see what I'm doing. Right, so we've got... That can go in the starship. That can go in the starship. We leave that there. Yeah, so we now have all the container space we need because we can delete this container and put the other containers there. So we've got, this is container 1 obviously, but 0 rather, but we could delete it and put container 1 there and put extra stuff there. So we have pretty much unlimited storage for this mode. We're never going to need more than a few of them. Don't even need to worry about the storage right now. But what we do want to do is go down to a planet. We've still got stuff enough vital we want to transfer over. So let's put some of this stuff in the starship anyway, just to give ourselves some space. We want to move across the technology. And the rest of the stuff. That's interesting. It's showing the storage container inventory there, even though I've called in my other ship. I can do it immediately without having to worry about transferring it all to my exosuit. Feels like a bug to me. Shouldn't be there. That will do. I'm not going to quibble about that one. That was in my favour. So that can get us to that. We've got a supercharged slot already available. Excellent. So we'll use the... What should we use? I'm tempted to use that for now. Actually, no, launch cost isn't that important. So we might as well put the pulse edge there, because this C-class thing is only going to have maneuverability +2. I think that's better. So we can probably tell by the stats. 435.6. 47. No, that's better. Okay. I was going to go back to my base for this, but never mind. sell that. Might as well stay there. Actually, I'll probably have a think about how I'm going to use my refiner in a minute, or in the next stream. Let's focus on sorting some of this out. So this belongs in the starship. Magnus ferret can stay in the starship. Cobalt can stay in the starships. Copper can probably go in storage for now. That can definitely go in storage, as can that. Should probably sell that. Exosuit. That can go in storage. Spare uranium. Not going to use those yet. Can't use those because it's bugs. Finally feels like we're getting somewhere though. Probably want to sell that. We go in the starship. Okay. So let's sell a few things. Actually, what are we doing? I'm not in the space station. For some reason I was thinking I was in the space station. Now we can make a decent attempt at getting scrap. Building a better corvette, if we even need a better corvette, to be honest. So we're selling the Lemium, we're selling the Viking effigy, and we're selling the presses. We'll leave the Corvette parts for now because we've always got the option to build a better Corvette if we want. How much money have we got left? Still got a couple of million. We're doing all right. Can you do the... Well, can't do a direct Corvette. You have to... I'm not quite sure what you mean, sell all that via the Corvette terminal. Oh, I just bought some. I was thinking I was selling. I just bought some of the stuff I want to sell. That's not a good idea. I'll take the hit. Could just reload, but I won't.
Units received. Units received. Units received.
I mean, I can do this. I can transfer the parts into my inventory and then sell them. Oh, I see what you mean. You mean we can sell things in this terminal? Yes, I suppose you could. I've never even tried to do that. Let's have a look. Yes, we can. Good tip. So we're not running around quite so much. You know, now that you mention it as the first thing you notice, I may have noticed it very, very early on that it was possible, but it didn't really put two and two together that it was something I'd need to do. But obviously in abandoned mode, when you've got to run all the way down there and back, it suddenly becomes quite a good tip. So is there anything else? We'd probably want a nutrition unit. So we need a hermetic seal. We've got everything else, I think. We've got the silver and the gold. But I don't need it right now. That's something that we can do later. And yeah, I've got space for a window here. I need some glass and some silver. Wish we could build out of these things. It's really crazy that we can't when we're in the local vicinity. Can't remember how much we need for one. 40. Okay. Let's build the thing anyway. Put the gold out. And build a hermetic seal. Is it just the one hermetic seal or is it multiple? Just the one. So we've got something we can look out of while we're scanning for stuff on the planet. We've got a refiner. We've got storage, as much as we really need. We have a place to sit. Of course, we haven't started fishing yet. But if I was going to do fishing, I'd need to build a little thing on the back so I could stand on it and maybe put a seat there. And I think we're not quite at the 3-hour mark. We're nearly at the 3-hour mark. So I would usually finish up about 3 to 3.5 hours. So let's finish off that one thing we hadn't done yet, which is land on all the planets and see what they're all like. And for that matter, see which ones actually have fauna on them. It's definitely something that is worth doing on the abandoned mode, yes. Because you get decent nanites for fish. Somebody said it. I actually did think it was you, Grabnaut, that mentioned that it was worth doing. not the #1 activity, but unless you really love fishing, which of course we all do here. We all love fishing so much. I've only ever been real world fishing once. I didn't hate it. It passed the time. I mean, I was with good company. We were having a good chat, a drink, and incidentally catching some fish. I guess that's what it's all about. Landed then. I've got to get out of the habit of landing. So, work beta. I wonder what why you'd put that in the thing. No, no fauna. Don't even have to land on the planets now to actually get the discovery, which is handy. Aggressive sentinels. We don't necessarily want to go there. We've got one more in this system. I believe we've got another couple in the other system. Which type of planet is it? Is it that one? Can't get that activated. It's not that one. It's obviously not that one. There's nothing oh, there's something behind that one at the back. Oh, that's the unmapped. Okay, there we go. And it's an abandoned planet, of course it is. Last interceptor I scrapped was only 1.5 million. That's interesting. Shouldn't be that low. Absolutely shouldn't be at that low. We have been saying for a very long while that you get too much money for scrapping. I'll put this on the screen so people know what we're talking about. See it on my screen. Yes, I can. There we are. Yeah, we have been saying for a long while that it's too easy a way of getting money. I didn't think they changed it though, and I would have thought I would see more people talking about that on Reddit. Maybe people are just so focused on corvettes at the moment that they haven't been doing much of that. It could be about the amount of scrap. Did you sell all of the bits? So I need to get out of the cockpit at least. So that's all of those visited. Still got quite a few on that one, and they're all visited. So let's get all of the planets visited, so the next time we come into the game, we're not confused as to where we're going. And we can make plans about parts we want or resources, etc. And that'll be a good place to finish up then when we've got all of the planets mapped. Well, you have us curious now. Maybe we'll check one. We'll maybe try and scrap one and see what happens. Thing is, there hasn't been an update, unless you're playing experimental, there hasn't been an update for quite a long while. At least a couple of weeks. Maybe a week and a half at the least. So I think we would have noticed people talking about it on Reddit. Exactly as Grabnaught's saying. I seem to say things and then it pops up on my slightly delayed chat. So we're obviously saying exactly the same thing at exactly the same time. Too often. It's happening far too often. Separated at birth. Activating. Which one was it? They seem to have thoroughly fixed this potential problem of the boxes being reusable. Although we did say it might have been... Oops! It's not what you want to see in permadeath. I guess it's not so bad now. We can just call in our ship. Oh, now we're inside. Now we're inside. Okay, we are going to reload. Should have made sure I was definitely outside. I thought I would have been outside there. Let's try that again. I'm going away now. Yeah, it's not quite as deadly as it used to be, but you do want to make sure you're outside of the space station region. Which does remind me, before I do this stream next, I should at least make a copy of my save in case we do have some kind of major upset that stops us from being able to continue. That's the curse of permadeath. that I've ever died in permadeath that way. Right. I'm a little bit wary of this piece of walkway now. Yeah, I can just feel myself falling. Doing it again. Right, well, let's try this time. As long as we stay alive, we can always reload. Still inside. We want to get to a point where we summon it will be just outside. Could even go back in there. That might be a safer option, actually. See if we just go back in here, and if it lets us put our feet down. No, I'm on the back of it. Well, I was at the front of it. Okay, I want to go that way. Theoretically, if we summon the ship when we're right near the front of this, even if we can't escape, we might be able to escape in our ship. No, cannot land here. I wonder if we can... That's not what I want to do. Alright. I don't want to get out of my ship now. And we're free. I don't have the emergency warp installed, but we can always, as long as you're outside of the collision, so it doesn't think you're still in the space station, you can warp. Because it doesn't actually achieve what we wanted, which was to go to that system, and I don't really want to be spending... Oops. I've just gone into the Steam overlay now. Everything's happening here. It's trying to tell me to finish up, I think. Right, I'm going to go back. Reload restore point. And instead of doing that warp to get out of it, I'll use the warp to go back to the system we want to go to. But I don't feel quite as cheated out of a warp fuel. Yeah, we completed the minigame, so we don't have to worry about that now. We can just do the normal. Play the game normally. I have no idea why that is so dark. We're not seeing the galaxy map properly. It's very odd to fall out of the fall out of it there. I've not fallen out of it there before. No, I'm not near the centre. I don't think I'm near the edge either. Quick look. neither near the center nor the edge. You can see the stars are there. Oh, what's going on? I mean, I do have the mod for the pulse effect, so I could try taking that out. I'll do that out of the stream. I'll try removing the mod and just making sure that isn't causing it. It shouldn't be. It hasn't done that before. It could just be something that going out of the game and coming back in would fix. Yeah, it could be a rendering thing that it's temporary. Like if I log completely out and log back in, it'll hopefully go away. Because I haven't been seeing that in recent updates. This actually looks quite an interesting planet. Stop here, but no fauna. I do need a few resources. Like for instance, I haven't got phosphorus at the moment. That's a salvageable scrap planet. It's humid as well, so that might be a good place to... If we wanted to develop our corvette, that would be a reasonable place to do it. I kind of like the idea of having a scrappy small corvette that is not particularly impressive in abandoned mode. It would feel wrong to have like a massive starship that could destroy things and there's nothing to fight, or it's more of a caravan in space. Still got some hyperclusters somewhere, pretty sure. Remember to, every time we want to come to this system, possibly don't come back via the space station for a while. Again, that could be a rendering issue as well. This is a very green planet. Fauna. And so we've got 2 planets left. So that's... looks like another lush planet. Into that one. So all around the other side now. It's a frozen planet. What on earth's going on? My sound system decided it would pick up something. Started playing some random music. It sounded like a sea shanty. Started playing a song called Frozen Heart from Frozen. Okay, yeah, so that's the early song in Frozen where they're cutting the ice, isn't it? Because I said something about a frozen planet and it probably thought I said Lex. I could only just hear it through my because these headphones really do exclude a lot of noise. They're not cancelling, but they in ear. I can't hear an awful lot when I'm wearing them. So just that one left. Breaking all the records in this system. I guess we only have 3 systems, but... if they're going to have a marker for planets on the compass, it would be a good idea if they also had a marker on the little radar screen in the cockpit. Yeah, I'm using an in-ear monitor, yeah. These are they're pretty good monitor headphones, but I had a problem with the wire, so I had to completely replace the wire. Which isn't a problem because wire is the cheapest part of the deal. Okay, so we have all of the planets in that system. Got a good source of sodium there. Probably need to pick up some pyrite, perhaps. Probably got enough uranium for now. Might need a bit more paraffinium at some point if I'm going to drive around more. Apart from that, gathering a few resources, which obviously we can gather more easily with these. We can scan for deposits a lot easier. You don't even have to go onto the planet until we get there. So I feel like we've achieved one of the goals, getting a corvette. We did have a corvette before in the previous abandoned run, and then I managed to stupidly get myself killed. But this time, I've landed by mistake now. This time we'll be a bit more cautious. We've got a better weapon, for instance. So I think I'll stop there for now, and until next time, travel well. Goodbye for now. Oh, I should have said, I've been Pharaoh. That's the first thing I usually say. I've been Pharaoh. Travel well. Goodbye for now.